Welcome. In this demonstration, I'll explain how to edit your schedule in Eduphoria Forethought. Once you log into Eduphoria, select the Forethought icon or link. Located in the bottom left corner, select Change My Settings and then My Schedules. As you can see here, I work on an A-B schedule. If you're an elementary teacher, you'll probably have a normal or regular schedule and you'd simply select that. Now, you can select a day and go in and edit the schedule and adjust that. However, that's probably going to be a little more complicated than it needs to be. So to make it easier on myself, I'm simply going to remove the schedules that I have here. This does not delete any lessons. So I remove those schedules and I'm going to start a new fresh one. So I'm going to go ahead and type this a day schedule. If you're elementary, you would simply type in regular schedule. Click Next, and then now I want to add my first class, add an entry. A course with learning standards is typically what you'd choose. You select Next, and then you would find your course. So I'm going to pretend to be a 7th grade math teacher, so I'll select middle school and then math, and then 7th grade, and choose Next. If you want to, you can go ahead and add an additional label. For example, if this is an A1 course, I would type that in and click Next. Now, I also teach a A2 class, and it happens to be a different set of kids, but they happen to get the very same lesson that A1 receives. So I'm going to select Add an Entry, and in this case, instead of choosing one with a learning standards, we'll choose a mirror because I want an exact copy of what happens in A1. So I'll select that. Now, while I'm here, for those of you that are elementary, you might want to use this option if you see, let's say you see every grade every day and you plan on Monday for first grade and Tuesday you're going to see another first grade class and you want the very same lesson to appear for them. So that's one way an elementary teacher might use this option, but it's usually a secondary that uses this option. So we'll add that, and you can see I want to mirror A1, so I select that, and then again you want to be sure to adjust this label so you know this is the course for A2. So I have A1, A2 is mirroring or receiving the same lesson as A1, and now the rest of my classes are actually going to be pre-AP 7th grade, so I'm going to add an entry, and I do want a course with learning standards, and select Next, and in this case I want to choose that pre-AP class, select that, and put a label A3. And I teach that 2 other times and it's going to receive that same lesson. So in this case I want to mirror again, and I'm going to mirror that pre-AP class, adjust the title to be A4, and one more time a course that mirrors, and mirroring that again, and that will be A5. So again, just to explain my schedule here, in A1 and A2 I teach the same thing. So I'll only plan in A1 and it will automatically copy that lesson to A2. And then I have pre-AP 7th grade, I'll only plan in A3 and it will automatically copy to A4 and A5. Okay. So now that I have my A-day schedule set up, I can continue by selecting Next in the bottom right corner. So I have my A-day schedule. For those again that are elementary, you'd add all your course subjects and so forth, and you'd be pretty much done. Now those that need a B schedule, in my case, I'll add a schedule and give that a name. Select Next, and then I have to think, okay, on B1, what am I teaching? So I select Add an Entry, and I have to think, is B1 a different set of kids but with the same lesson that A1 received? If it's a different set of kids, you will want to mirror. If it's the same kids, you want to choose a course with learning standards because you're going to be giving them a new lesson. So I know a lot of high school courses in A1 and B1 it may be the same kids. So you'll want to choose a course with learning standards because it should be a new lesson. Even though it's a continuation, it should be, in general, a new lesson, not identical. So in this case, it's a different set of kids for me, so but the same lesson as A1, I'm going to put in B1. So I'll choose a mirror and select next, and you can see I'm going to mirror my A1 class and select next, and just be sure to label this because it's B1. Then I'm going to add an entry for B2. Well, B2 is going to be a pre-AP, so yes, I want to mirror again, but this time I want to mirror this particular class. Okay, so I'll click next, and I will name it B2, and then I'm going to mirror that same class again, another pre-AP class, and name it B4, and then finally one more, mirror that very same pre-AP class, so here you have it. So I'm on my B-Day schedule, and B1 mirrors A1, and then B2, B4, and B5 all mirror A2. So I'm only going to have to work in those particular classes. So when I edit, so I'm click next, and I've set up or revised my schedule, and we'll select next and begin using Forethought. Now when I get back here, don't panic, you'll still have your old schedule if you've activated this particular page. Now if you want to see your new schedule, you'd go up here to the top left corner and select delete today's plans. Once I do that, then I have a choice. So let's pretend it's an A-day schedule, and I begin, and you can see my new schedule. Now let's do a little test here. I can go in here and do test 1, and I will save this, and this is being mirrored in other courses, so I'm going to click this arrow here to refresh the page so it will reload, and let's see if it works. Test 1, it mirrors into A2, and none of those others are mirroring. Okay, then I go in and I select a new day. Again, since I've already been there, I need to delete today's plans. Normally you'll just see this screen you're about to see here, and I'll choose B-Day schedule and begin. So you see how that is mirrored. Okay, so let's go back and let's test my pre-AP class. I'll go in here to my pre-AP class, and I'll type test 2, for example. Save it. Again, refresh the page to make sure that the mirror is working. So you can see test 2 actually appears 2 other times on this page, and then let's see if it goes to my next B-Day schedule. You see it there. So a lot of your planning, you will select B schedule, but you'll never have to actually plan that day because you will already have put it in A1 and A3. So I only plan in 2 spots, but once I save and refresh my page, it will show up in all those areas similar to the schedule in which you see those students. So you can see if you get this set up at the beginning of the year, it's not going to be a big deal to make it appear as if you teach that class the amount of times you really teach it. So that's the general setup for A-B schedule. A lot of similarities in elementary too, but you just won't do many mirroring items unless you're in a non-core area. You also need to add district resources to your schedule. So while I'm here, we're going to go ahead and add a district resource. Select change my settings, and then my schedules, and I will add a schedule and name it district resources. Select next, and then I'm going to add an entry just like I did earlier, and next. But this time I won't go to my grade level or whatever. I'll select district resources. Now these are district resources that I will pull in or integrate in my regular classes. So if you wanted, for example, the multi-level standards, those are available within these core subject area courses. You can see district resources here, English language proficiency standards and technology, so forth. We want to choose district resources and add it, and then we're going to add an entry again, and we will add English language proficiency standards. Okay, and then if you're elementary, you'd want to then add technology applications, which you'd find in your respective grade levels. but I'm pretending to be secondary here, so I'll just have these two at a minimum and select next, and you can see now I have 3 schedules. Now that they're in there, I want to complete this wizard and begin using Forethought so it saves my work. Now again, since I've already clicked and activated this page, I might need to go up here and select delete today's plan so it will be displaying my latest plans. Now let's talk a little bit about how do we use those district resources now. Well, you may be planning in math and you need to integrate the English language proficiency standards, or you might need to put in your some other resources. So what you do is go in the top right corner here and select district resources. For example, I need to set up my templates, so I'll select lesson plan templates, and then you see listed down here some resources. The second one is your summary lesson plan template, as I see here. So I will use in plans in the top right corner and confirm it, and you can see it will put it in place. Now remember earlier, all I have to do is what I put in A1 and A3 will trickle down to all my other pages, so that will save me a lot of time if I do that. So again, I put that template in place in both places. Now right now I don't see it in these other courses, and that's simply because I need to save and refresh. So as you watch here, watch what happens to A2 because I've mirrored that course. I'll refresh the page, and I've only set the template in A1 and A3, and you can see now it appears because I have set that to automatically mirror in this secondary situation. I click the arrow and check my B schedule, and again the same thing happens there. Okay. Now I'll go back to my A day or just a regular day if you're elementary. Now I want this template to show up every day that I plan, so if you'll activate this gray box here, or blue box, notice in the top right corner there is a wrench. If you click the wrench and set as default text and click OK, it will automatically appear every day you start planning for math grade 7. Now if you're elementary, you'll need to go to every subject and do that. Now in this case, again, I only have that one subject there, and then I have my pre-AP in A3, so I'll do the same thing here, set as default text, and so all future instances of that course will automatically have that. So let's say pretend I'm going to plan on the 27th. I choose A day, and automatically, without any other effort, it automatically puts in my template to get me started. One last thing, the ELPs. Well, how do we deal with the ELPs integrating? Well, you know, when you double click up here in this box, if you click in just the right spot, let's see if there we go, you would choose your 5E model, you'd choose your language support, maybe some integration things. Well, in your lesson plan template, you're supposed to explain how would you address that listening objective. So in a student-friendly manner, you would type that in here. Now you may have you might be fresh out of ideas on how you can address that objective. So what you can do is click in the top right corner and select English Language Proficiency Standards, and then you can see those are listed here. So if we're doing listening, you might go to under listening, and let's say this is the ELP you're going to use, and you can see I select 2D and it may have resources. So if you're a math teacher, you want to go to the math section, science, all other subjects would go to the last one here. So since I'm pretending to be a math teacher, I will select this one right here. I'll double click it, and it's giving me advice or some ideas on how I might deal with the listening standard or ELP related to math. So you can see some examples. So let's say I just simply want to use maybe just these 4 things to begin with. By the way, you can hit Control C on your keyboard to copy that content. If you want to use all of it, you can click Use in Plans, but I just did Control C to copy, and I'll close this window, and then I can go right here after I've added my explanation, and I could add, I can Control V to paste, and you can see I've pasted in some ideas to help me with that objective. I'll click Close here, and you can see the start of my lesson plan, and then of course you just attach different plans you might have in addition to the summary template. So that's a lot of information, but hopefully they get you started for the year in editing your schedule and setting your template, taking advantage of these other resources that are new this school year. So good luck.